Minimalism can be great for ADHD. These are some tips to help create your perfect minimalism home that you can actually start using today. And the first thing is the 90-day rule. What this means, if you have something you haven't used in 90 days and you have no intention of using it in the next 90 days, you might want to get rid of it because it's just going to sit in your home and become clutter at that point. Now, it may be just something that you just found that you forgot that you had and you haven't missed it. So in that case, you may not intend to use it in the next 90 days and then you would get rid of it. Or you bought something and it just never worked out and you never have used it and you have no intention of using it again in the next 90 days. And that is also a candidate to get rid of. And the next thing is the 4-box method. What you're going to have is 4 boxes, one for trash, one to throw away, one to keep, and one to store. And you're going to designate these 4 boxes. And as you're going through trying to declutter and get rid of things, you put them in these separate boxes so that you know what you're going to keep, what you're going to throw away, what is just absolute trash, and what you're actually going to store somewhere. Now, when you do store something, you want to make sure that you're going to use like clear containers because that way you can actually see inside without actually having to go through and look through a whole bunch of containers to find out what is in one. This is actually trash, or this is something I absolutely want to keep. And then you're just going to go around and reduce the amount of items in your home that way. Now, the next method is called the tidy toss method. What this is, you have bins and containers and you take small items and toss them into these bins or containers. That means you're not neatly organizing anything. You're just putting them all in one place so they're easy to find, easy to access. And with bins and containers, you can always see what's inside there. So if you're wondering if you have something where it actually goes, you can see across the room where something is and then go ahead and take that item and put it in there. And actually, you'll get used to doing this. And so you'll know immediately, hey, I've got this little small thing that I need to organize. I can go ahead and toss it in this container that I've designated for this specific thing. Now, for me, sometimes I make this a game. I take a basket, I put it kind of far away, have a pile of socks, and I try to shoot the socks into the basket and see how many I can put in the basket. Now, all the ones I miss, I still have to go over, retrieve, and put into the basket. It's just a way to make this a little more fun. Now, the next thing is the one touch rule, and you have to have a place for everything in your home so this works. And what it is that you take something and you touch it just once and then you put it back in its place. So you don't pick it up and then put it somewhere else before you put it back in its place. So if you know you have a designated place for this thing, then when you find it in your home and you're like, wow, it's out of place, let me go ahead and take it directly back and put it in the place I've designated for it. If you have to pick it up more than once, then either you don't have space for it, or you have something that's in the way, or you have to move something in the way, or you just put it down and forget that you put it down. And that can be a common thing with ADHD too. Pick something up, you put it down, and then you just forget that you did that, or you put it behind something and then you don't see it later. And the next thing is the 1 in and 1 out rule. And what that means, if you bring something into your home, you have to get rid of something. So you're not actually generating more items than what you actually need. And this is a great rule because if you're going to buy something, you really have to think about, okay, I'm going to buy it. What can I get rid of out of my home that I really don't need? So you're going to be maintaining your house in this decluttered state and also this minimalist state because you know that you don't want to have a lot of clutter in your home. And so this has you making these really hard choices, especially if you're really impulsive about things and just buy things because it's new and shiny. If you realize, it's really not that important, that you may stop and not buy it at all. And that can be a good thing, especially when you have ADHD. Now, the next thing is avoid buying something that makes you buy something else. Now, the example I can use for this is doing arts and crafts. Now, if you are super excited about arts and crafts and you know that's what you want to do as a hobby or as a business, and you know that you're going to stay interested in it, then great. But if not, and you're just like, hey, I want to do arts and crafts, you get excited about it, and then you go start just buying all the stuff. You buy the glue, you buy the paper, you buy the scissors, you buy all the beads, you buy all the different stuff, maybe the fabric and all that stuff, and you're just not interested anymore. But you have all this stuff in your home and it just sits there and becomes clutter because you just never get to the point to where you move it out of your home or throw it away or whatever. And so that's something you do not want to do because you're going to create clutter by buying all this extra stuff that you really don't need. That's not essential. Now, the next thing is buy quality over quantity because you're going to have less things in your home. You're going to reduce the amount of items in your home. So buy things that are actually going to last. Buy things that are nicer. that you can use in multiple ways. Like, say you have a wardrobe you want to have, and you want to have nice items that you can wear. So buy items that you can mix and match. And that way you can get multiple outfits out of some of the same items and just move them around in different colors and different things and different configurations, because you can have one outfit on one day and one outfit on the next day and it still contain all the same things. So think about things like that. Instead of buying just more and more and more, you want to think about things that are really nice quality, that you'll use, that are essential, that you can keep, and that don't take up as many items to have what you actually want. And also get rid of duplicates. You do not need them. How many crock pots do you need? How many coffee machines do you need? How many exercise bikes do you need? If you have duplicates of these things, then you may want to think about getting rid of them. And it can be that you had one, it just went bad, you bought another one, and you never got rid of the broken one. Or you just forgot that you had the one that you had, and you actually go out and buy a new one, and then you realize when you got home, oh wow, I have two of them now. So if you have something like that, and something that you are not going to use, you're sure you're not going to use it because you have one already, then go ahead and get rid of the duplicate. Whether you sell it or throw it away or give it to somebody, whatever you want to do with it, but don't keep it in your home because it takes up space and it just makes it clutter in your home. And also make sure you do this: complete 1 minute task immediately. Anything that takes you 1 minute or less. For example, you have a container by the door for your phone, your keys, and your wallet. When you come into your home and you know that container is there, it's right by the door. Go ahead, before you do anything else, put those things in that container. Then you can go about your day and do whatever else you want. But you know that when you come in, you have to do this, or else it's going to be all over your home and you're going to try to figure it out and then get lost, and you have to take time to try to find that stuff. So instead, immediately once you think about it, go ahead, put it into a container. Or if you need your cell phone, it's cool, use it. But the other thing is, if you have a cell phone and you know you need to charge it all the time, make a charging station. And then when you need to actually charge your phone, immediately get up, go and put it at the charging station. And the reason is because if you don't, sometimes you just run out of power because you've held your phone, you haven't charged it, and now you might need your phone and it still has no power. And so the thing is, anything like that that you can do very quickly, that doesn't take a whole lot of time, go ahead and do it and get it done so you don't forget about doing it later when you really needed to do it and have it done. And now the next thing is go digital. Now, sometimes you might need a pen and piece of paper, and that's okay. But in some cases, you don't need the paper. Like, for example, you have bills all around your house for everything. Instead, try to do e-billing, because a lot of times you can go ahead and just look it up and look up past bills with e-billing. Or you have magazines you want to read. You have just all these magazines around your home and you haven't actually got to them and read them. Go ahead and do, magazines online. And you might have a tablet where it's easy to access those magazines as well. But anything that you can just get rid of and then use it digitally and access it digitally, then you may want to do that because it's going to reduce the amount of paper clutter in your home. And that's a good thing. And the next thing is learn how to say no. If you don't, sometimes you'll just keep taking in things and they just keep becoming clutter. So when somebody comes to you and says, hey, you want this extra exercise bike I got? I don't need it. And you have nowhere to put it in your home. You're not going to use it. You don't think you're going to use it, but you don't want to be rude to your friend. And so you say, hey, sure, I'll take it. And then it becomes clutter in your home. And then you have to try to get rid of it to another person or in another place or throw it away. So just learn to say, hey, that's cool. That looks really nice. I just don't need it. Just, I can't take it in my home right now. I know I'm not going to use it. Whatever you want to say, but just say, hey, no. Because if you don't, you're just going to end up with stuff that is going to become clutter in your home. You're just going to end up with stuff you don't use that's not essential. And then you're going to be wondering, okay, how did my home get so much clutter in it? Like, where did all the stuff come from? And it can be to the fact that you just didn't say no when offered things, especially like stuff like freebies and stuff like that. They offer it to you, offer you a bag, put like 15 things in them. And then you get home and you're not going to use any of this stuff, but it was cool. In the moment, it was nice to have all these freebies, but this stuff just ends up, a lot of times in the trash, just a lot of times around the house, and it doesn't serve any purpose at all a lot of times. So again, just learn how to say no. And besides this video, I do have a video about how minimalism actually simplifies your life. I think it's really important to watch. It should be up on your screen. Go ahead and click that video and watch it right now.